Shalom. GMS Holland Sit Downs coming back at you with a lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS. Peace and salutations to the elect out there that's pushing his word of sincerity and truth. You know, safety and strength unto your brothers out there that are in the midst of this hurricane that's passing over right now, you know, by the hand of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. You know, the brothers in Houston, stay strong. The brothers in Miami, you know, people following this truth in St. Martin, you know, the brother in Puerto Rico, you know, Barakata Akyam, stay strong. So without further ado, I want to go into this lesson. The name of this lesson is Jacob shall not now wax pale. You know, because you got certain cats out there that be saying like, you see. So there is no possibility that there are Israelites that look like the so-called white man. You know, that's what they want to prove with the scripture. So without further ado, we're gonna go into the scripture. It is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Therefore, thus said Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. And the reason I put, you know, the harder sound on the word now is because it's, you know, these guys be saying like, you see, Israel will never be looking like a cracker. Israel will never look like a so-called white man, you know. But it says, neither shall his face now wax pale, you know. So that doesn't mean it never waxed pale, you know. So if it had the meaning that these guys would have put on it, it would only be talking about a certain time that Jacob's face would not wax pale. If it would mean looking like a so-called white man, that would only mean that it's talking about a certain time that it's not going to happen, you know, because it says, neither shall his face now wax pale, you know, pointing out a certain time. So they trying to use this, saying that Israel is never going to look like a so-called white man. But if you just continue reading verse 23, it's going to be more clear, you know, in a certain way, what is actually talking about. Of course, we need precept upon precept, so that's what we're going to go into next. But verse 22 basically already explains you what verse 22 is talking about. So it says, neither shall his face now wax pale, but when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob. So it's basically already explaining you, but I'm going to go into the lesson first, and Yahuwah at the end, you know, I'm going to read verse 23 again, and Yahuwah will be clear then, man. You know, reading verse 22, it's like verse 23 again before I go into the lesson. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the power of Israel. Exactly. Verse 24, they also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. Okay, so first and foremost, we are going to cut this doctrine of it's talking about that Israel is never going to look like the so-called white man, because that's nonsense, man. That's nonsense. You know? You got Israelites out there that have a red skin. You got Israelites out there that don't look like a Wesley Snipes type of Israelite. You know, you got Jakes out there that look like Pierce Brosnan. You know, Pierce Brosnan, the old James Bond dude. You know, you got Israelites looking at that. You got this guy, what's his name? Conor McGregor. Hey, that's a Jake, man. You know, for all you idiots out there, you know, this lesson is for you, man. Conor McGregor, if you look at the spirit, you can see that's a Jake, man. You know, and then they post this video about him swinging with his arms like this. And then they be saying like, you see, that's an Edomite. That's something an Edomite would do. Nigga, listen. Jake is a peculiar people. Israel is a peculiar people. That's... come on, man. You know, but hey, if certain people, you know, they just can't see it, man. And I've witnessed that. You know, certain people just can't see it. But you're going to have Israelites that look like Conor McGregor, man. You know, just like Conor McGregor. So this is Revelation chapter 5, verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by the blood out of, listen carefully, it says, Thou hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. So it says Israel is gonna come out of every nation, man. Does that mean that Edomites are Israelites? Does that mean that Edomites can be saved? Does that mean that sand crackers, talking about these Ishmaelites, these Arabs, can be saved? No, it's not talking about that. You know, it's talking about that between Ishmaelites, between Moabites, between even Edomites, these crackers, you're going to have Israelites in the midst. You are going to have Israelites in the midst of these people, man. In the midst of these heathens. Let me read it again. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by the blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. So, Jake is going to be amongst all these nations, man. So, regardless how they look, they're still going to be Jake, man. They're still going to be an Israelite, you know. So, talking about Isaiah chapter 29 and 22 is talking about Israel is never going to look different. That's nonsense. There are plenty scriptures about that Israel is going to look different, man. You know. And here also you see that Israel will be gathered from many nations, many countries. So what does Jake do when he's among different kind of females, man? He pops them, man. Jake pops them. And their children, you know, for example, let me put me as an example, man. My mother is a so-called white woman. And my father is a Benjamite Jake. So I turned out to be lighter of skin. But does that mean that I'm a so-called white man? Does that mean I'm an Edomite? No. You know, but, you know, people wouldn't say that because I still have this color. But what if I would make a son with a so-called white woman? My son would look like a Blake Griffin's son, man. You know, if she's blonde, he will probably have blonde hair too. So, what then? You're gonna look at me as an Israelite, and you're gonna look at him as a heathen. You're gonna look at him as a Edomite. Yes, you're gonna look at him as a Edomite. Why? Because y'all ain't got no understanding, man. Y'all ain't got no understanding. Even though he has blue eyes, blonde hair, he's gonna be Israelite, man. He is gonna be an Israelite. But this is due to the curses, man, that the Most High has put this thing upon us, man. This is Daniel chapter 9 verse 5. We have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgment. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in the name of our princes and fathers to all the people of the land. So because we have sinned and we didn't listen to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the Most High put certain things upon us. Verse 6. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of face. So confusion of face means if you are used to a Wesley Snipes type of Israelite, you know, a Wesley Snipes type of Israelite would not be confusion unto you. But when a confusion of face comes in front of you, looking like let's say a Chinese man, you will look at him and you be like, hey, that's confusion of face, man. What is he doing among us? That's confusion. And that's what is the confusion? His face. He doesn't look like an Israelite. He doesn't look like the regular Wesley Snipes type of Israelite. That's the confusion. So the scripture says, O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of face, as it is this day. So up till this day, confusion of faces, you know, even in the time of Daniel, it was already like that. In the time of Babylon, in the time of the Medo-Persian Empire, it was already a confusion of face type of thing among Israel. So how much you think, fast forward like Babylon was around 600 AD. So around like 2,600, 700 years ago, man. If it was already like that in that time, what you think about this time, man? You know, you're going to have Jakes looking like all kinds of nations, man. That's why the scripture in Revelation 5 and 9 says, and has redeemed, meaning to deliver, us to the Most High by the blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. So between these nations, you're going to have Jakes looking like the nations amongst whom they are, man. You know, quick precept upon that is Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 1 verse 5. Habakkuk chapter 1 and 5. It says, behold ye among the heathen. And that's already the point, man. Behold ye among the heathen. So Habakkuk was speaking unto them that were among the heathen. What do you do as an Israelite being among the heathen? Eventually you're going to end up with the heathen wife. Eventually you're going to pop it and you're going to receive children. Eventually your children are going to look more than the heathens, like the heathens than you. That's the after effect, man. And that's why confusion of faces belongs unto us up till this day. You know, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you. You know, and that's concerning the prophecies. So, let's go back to Isaiah. So basically, that nonsense about Jacob shall not now wax pale, that is talking about that Israel is never gonna look like a so-called white man, or you know, he has to be brown in color. That's nonsense, man. That's not what the scripture is talking about. You know, because even though they are among the heathen, even though you got Israelites among the heathen laying down with heathens, having sex with heathens, getting children with heathens, when he is dark-skinned and when he is an Israelite, his sons are going to be Israelites too. whether they have blonde hair or pale skin, you know, they're going to be Israelites, man, because the seed goes through the father, Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day in the second month, and they declared their pedigrees, meaning race, lineage, after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, and 20 years old and upward, from 20 years old and upward by their pulse. So the race was decided by the father. So if the father is an Israelite, the child can come out pale with blue eyes and white hair, white blonde hair. It doesn't matter, man. He's still an Israelite, you know. So we among the heathens have mingled with them, and they and our children have started to look like them. So that only shows you, like, even though they look like them, they are still Israelites. So we know Jacob shall not now wax pale. It's not talking about that Israel is never gonna look like other nations or even the so-called white man, because our people was amongst the so-called white people too, man. In 711, when we traveled under the banner of being Moors, you know, under the Islam religion, traveled to Spain from Morocco, we grabbed up all kinds of so-called white women, man. We had so-called white women as slaves, man. We brought Turkish white, zombie-looking ass bitches, white as fuck, pale as fuck. We brought them from Turkey all the way up to West Europe, man. Having them as slaves, learning them how to bathe. And of course, we made children with them. So our children became just like me, you know, and their children became just like the son of Blake Griffin, man. You know, very, very pale, looking like a so-called white man. You know, and that child is gonna grow up amongst white people, probably, and they're gonna look at him as one of theirs, even though he's a Jake, man. You know, if you look at their father, he's a Levite from Haiti, man. You know, Blake Griffin's father is a Levite from Haiti. So basically, that doctrine is X'd out already with these scriptures, man. So now we're gonna go into the full breakdown, you know, of that scripture. So let me read Isaiah 29 and 22 again. It says, "Therefore, thus said Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob." Abraham, redeeming Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. It's not talking about all the children of Abraham, man, because only only Isaac was chosen. And it says Abraham, redeeming Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, because we know that there is one chosen lineage, man. We know that there's one chosen lineage which is chosen, and from there on out we go further. So this is Genesis chapter 17 verse 5. "Neither shall thy name any more be called Abraham, but thy name shall be Neither shall thy name any more be Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee." A father of many nations. Why have we become many nations? Because Jacob turned into many nations too. You got Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the 12 tribes, man. They became nations of themselves. Then you got Israelites scattered among other people, you know. So Abraham became a father of many nations only looking at Jacob, man. Even if you only look at Jacob, he became a father of many nations. But then you also had Ishmael, you know, and other nations that came out of Abraham. But it's not talking about them, you know. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee and to thy seed. It doesn't say seeds, it says seed after thee. So now if we jump to Romans, I believe it was Romans 9, I believe. Romans 9. Wait, bear with me for a minute, man. Gone. This is Romans 9. Romans 9 and 6. And Romans 9 and 6. Not as though the word of the Most High had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Neither, because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children. But in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So in Isaac shall thy seed be called. You know, and it's going to tell you that in Genesis 2. If we jump to let me jump to verse 20. Genesis 17 and 20. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, with Sarah, which Sarah shall bear unto thee as at this set time in the next year. So Isaac was the chosen seed, and not all these other nations that came out of Abraham. So that again is also X'd out, man. Back to Isaiah 29, verse 22. Therefore thus said Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. So like we just read, the redeeming was concerning his seed and not seeds. So not these other nations that came out of Abraham. So, and that seed that was chosen, which we read in Romans chapter 9, was Isaac. And we know who was chosen among Jacob and Esau, man. And if you don't know, go and read, what is it? Genesis chapter 27. Let me see. Genesis chapter 27. It says, yeah, the blessing, Isaac's blessing obtained by Jacob. That's the title. It's written here in my book. It's written here in the Bible. You know, concerning Genesis 27, it says Isaac's blessing obtained by Jacob. So Jacob obtained the blessing. So I don't even have to read it, man. If you don't know, read it for yourself, man. You know, we're going to continue into the lesson, man. So Isaiah 29, verse 22. Therefore thus said Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. So it was concerning the house of Jacob, the redemption is going to be unto Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. So if you really think that this is talking about that Jacob, Israel is not going to look like a so-called white man, why don't you explain this? Jacob shall not now be ashamed. Why is that before Jacob shall not now wax pale? Why don't you explain this? Jacob shall not now be ashamed. You know? Explain that. You can't, man. So, you know, I will explain it. Because the elders have taught me well, man. This is Psalms chapter 25, starting with verse 19. Consider mine enemies, and this is a psalm of David. Consider mine enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with cruel hatred. Oh, keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in thee. So this was a psalm of David concerning enemies that would overtake him, man. Heathen nations that would overtake him. So if these heathens would overtake him, he would be ashamed. That's what the prayer says, man. Verse 20, oh, keep my soul. Keep my soul from what? From these heathens overtaking him. Keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed. So King David already explains you in his psalm that being ashamed is when these heathens overtake you, man. And now, what happened to us, man? These heathens have overtaken us, man. These heathens have overtaken us, and the prophet Ezra, or Ezra's, however you want to pronounce it, has spoken about it, man. If you go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, starting with verse 54, man. I can't leave things out, man. Verse 54, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. The people also whom thou hast chosen. The people also whom thou hast chosen, which is the lineage which goes through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. So even the chosen people come from Adam. And this have I spoken before thee, O Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So they are nothing, man. They are nothing in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. This is the point, verse 57. And now, O Yahweh, behold, these heathens which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. So these heathens have taken us over, man. Now, King David explained us in Psalms 25, 19 and 20 that when heathens overtake you, you should be ashamed, man. And this scripture explains us that these heathens have overtaken us. And if we just look outside, we can see the so-called white man in his kingdom, and they have overtaken us. So we are ashamed right now because we are underneath base men. Base men have became lords over us, man. So it says, verse 57, and now, O Yahweh, behold, these heathens, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. Slavery, captivity. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten. So here you see the lineage is the only begotten, which is the chosen, which is Israel, man. The redemption of Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. That's what it's talking about, the only begotten. And thy fervent lover are given into their hands. So we are in the hands of the heathen, man. Which means we are ashamed. We are ashamed at this moment, man. So back into Isaiah 29 and 22. Therefore thus said Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed. So we are ashamed still in this time. But there is going to come a point in time where we are not going to be ashamed anymore. This is the prophecy of Isaiah. The house of Jacob shall not now be ashamed. There's going to come a point in time, and that point is approaching, man. That point is approaching in a quick pace. Looking at all the prophecies, the point is approaching wherein we are not going to be ashamed anymore. You know, so it says, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. You know, so concerning the paleness, we're gonna have to go into the Farlex dictionary, which I recommend to you brothers to use often. Also, another good thing to use is etymology, the online etymology. It says etym online, you know, where you can dig into the root of the words, man. You know, etym online, Farlex dictionary. The link to the website is thefreedictionary.com. So that's a good thing to look into. And what I did is I looked up the word pale, man. If you go into the blue letter, it's gonna say shocked. The word pale meaning to be shocked. But when you go into the Farlex dictionary, the free dictionary is gonna say, you know, more things, man. It's saying pale, feeble, and weak. Feeble and weak. So the scriptures say, neither shall his face now wax pale. Talking about become feeble, become weak, you know. More definitions of the word pale is faint. It says faint, to dim or faint. Fair, to be in fear, because to be feeble is to be in fear, man. Feeble in if your knees are feeble, that means you have no power, man. You are out of strength, man. You trembling, you're fearing, you know. So neither shall his face now wax pale. Talking about there's gonna come a certain point in time where Jacob is not gonna be scared no more. There's gonna come a certain point in time where Jacob is not gonna be weak no more, where Jacob is not gonna be faint no more, you know. But this time we are still weak, we are still feeble, we are still faint, we are still in fear, because the so-called white man, which is the devil, is still ruling over us, man. Still ruling over us. So it's pointing out a certain time. And it's pointing out the time wherein we are not going to be feeble no more. It's pointing out the time where we are not going to be faint no more. It's pointing out the time where wherein we are not